Um, Hi guys, if you can hear me, welcome to the market wrap. I'm Niraj Shah, and it's an interesting day of trade simply because Bombay was besieged with a power cut, and despite that, I think most people have managed to punch in their trades and have a full day of trade as the volume suggests. So let's quickly get before I get in Nickey in on the whole market piece. Let's just quickly look at what's happening in the markets or what happened in the markets really. Flattish day of trade, hardly any moves per se on the benchmark index, though it is deceptive because intraday there were a few gyrations and helped in part by what happened to select IT and pharma names. So as you can see, Infosys, Wipro, HCL Tech ahead of the numbers this week for all three. They did okay in the green. What didn't do well, Bharti Airtel down about 2.5% yet again. So that grouse continues for Airtel. HDFC Life, interestingly, despite having a fabulous month of September, is actually moving southwards, and that's pretty interesting, really. And there were some gains, some losses to HDFC Bank, but those were few and far in between. This was the picture of the market. I think the action really lay beyond the Nifty 50 in a bunch of other pockets. And Nickey Mirchandani joins in to talk about all of that. But Nickey, before we get to the broader markets, what stood out in the trade today for you? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Niraj. Clearly, it was Vedanta. Started with a cut of around 9.5%, 10% in the opening deals itself, and the losses just went on magnifying through the course of the day. Ended the day with cut of around 20 odd percent. This is after the whole delisting that failed, and the capital allocation again comes back to the fore. You have a couple of issues now that the investors are worried about. The capital allocation will overshadow the operational performance, be it in terms of the corporate governance issue, which is a classic case of how things can go wrong. In fact, SES has come out with a report suggested that SEBI should probably come out with a detailed set of delisting norms, because there are a few more companies which are going to be lined up in the course of the day. You have through entire time you have Hexaware and Lights, which are going to be soon delisting from exchanges. So SEBI needs to come up with a detailed report. It's a wake up call of sorts, at least with the way things have worked out for Vedanta. And now clearly the investors would like to watch out how the dividend policy plays. How does the company manage the intra-company loans? How does the company go about with the entire balance sheet issue? That continues to weigh on the entire stock, and all of the brokerages, in fact, cut their target prices, and they're waiting for clarity coming in from Vedanta. On the positive side, though, what surprised was the good performance which came in from ITC, where CLSA upgraded the counter to outperform and said that the price target was now around 220. It found the valuation extremely compelling, with 5% free cash flow yield, 6% dividend yield. At the same time, it also said that the government stake sale and the negative regulatory news flow could be one of the risks. But then, Neeraj, I'm going to come back to you. Two stocks which have been listed today. How is the performance there, and which are the stocks that you're picking up from the mid cap space?
Yeah, so it was on expected lines really. Mazgaon Dock had a fabulous listing, and UTIMC kind of paled in comparison. So just quickly line up the prices of those two, Nickey, and just show for a moment as to how the debut day was for them. Largely, viewers remember that the debut for most companies have been okay. So Mazgaon Dock actually listed at a really substantial premium, and then came off a little bit during the course of the day compared to what it listed at. But no, still no grouses because it was at least in the positive. Now, if you look at what UTIMC did instead, and that will come up on your screen, I think a lot of people are now starting to question the valuations that asset management companies are getting in light of what some of the other global deals are happening. Maybe, just maybe, not quite surprising, really. And we've seen how the last few day or few weeks or months, the kind of response that the investors have given to HDFC, AMC, or RNAM as well leaves a bit to be desired. But just very quickly, just the broader end of the spectrum, and then Nicky will, of course, highlight the individual ones. But I just want to get in the chart which shows the advanced decline ratio as well as the names of the gainers and the losers, and you will see what I'm talking about. So, third day on a trot, the market breadth was extremely poor. Jindal Stainless, corporate development up about 18%. Midcap IT had a wild ride today. LT Infotech up about 12%. Coforge up about 8%. So those did okay. We mentioned in the trade setup today that Dr. Lal Path Labs had a very high probability of moving up because it had corrected the last couple of days and now the clarifications have come. So that is doing okay. But remember, viewers, it's going to be a packed week for IT with all the results slated to come out, including Mindtrees, which was up about 4% today. So that's something you need to watch out for. for. Corrected Z Entertainment, Mindtree, etc. Yeah, these are the results, of course, for this week. But on the flip side, on the stocks that corrected, the likes of Z Entertainment, Motherson Sumi, or for that matter, Shilpa Medicare, they corrected on expected lines. But I mean, those were just the movers per se. What stood out, Nickey, and what is it that one should watch out for?
Sure. Actually, if I could address one stock particularly, I wanted to address Z Entertainment because the entire media space as a whole was badgered because of that one stock. Sentiment impact probably after, reports suggested that Citi has defaulted on a bank loan, which comes as a surprise, especially after it comes within 40 days of timely payment of receivables being assured by the company. That's expected to take a, balance sheet hit of around 200 crore. Of course, the investors will also have to weigh in the kind of bearing this will have on the balance sheet, on account of which you've seen that huge loss coming in for the entertainment through the course of the day. And of course, on the positive side, there were stocks like Jindal Stainless and Jindal Stainless Hisar, where both of them garnered quite some traction after the anti-dumping duty came in, which is seen as a beneficial move coming in for the stainless industry. But Niraj, I'm going to quickly also talk about how the global setup at this point of time looks like. It looks like a pretty picture, fairly decent innings coming in for European futures, European stocks, as well as the US stock futures at this point of time. Investors are kind of focusing on the coming, more stimulants coming in. Along with that, they're also looking at the great set of, earnings that could probably pour in from this quarter. So clearly, that takes the center stage, at least when it comes to the global front. Of course, as you just mentioned, the entire traction now is going to be an action-packed week that we're looking at with a bunch of results which are lined up. But that's all that we have in terms of market wrap today. You guys can log into BloombergQuint.com for more updates. But from all of us here at BloombergQuint, have a nice weekend.